Hello all and welcome back to the Walrus Plays. Some Nostalgia Sundays, Settlers 2 Gold Edition. Now this is a very much of a blast from the past that I very much enjoyed. And I am going to start trying the Roman campaign. Off we go. Let's have this a try. Now this game, essentially you follow the journey of a bunch of Romans who've managed to get themselves shipwrecked on a series of islands. And we have to discover what's on this island and how we actually can do things. So, of course, Octavius has said the fourth day after the shipwreck, yesterday all the survivors met in order to discuss the situation, because it's all gone terribly wrong. No prospect of an early rescue, we've decided to settle on this foreign island. We have some wood, but we need raw materials in the island to establish a settlement. We need accommodations for a woodcutter, a carpenter, and a stonemason. So this is the first mission, so of course it does act as a tutorial. Having played this a lot as a child, yeah, I know this game quite well. So I'm going to build myself a quarry. I'm going to build that here. You'll notice that each of these different buildings have different sizes. So we've got things like the biggest one, which is the big size, the medium size, and the small size. At the moment, I need a woodcutter. And I also need a sawmill. So I'm going to build a sawmill here and put that there. Now, because I've got some amount of wood, I think it'll be a good idea to get 2 woodcutters on the go. And we'll build a flag here. Now, the flags, each road has a person carrying stuff on. So there's one, there's another. As they move up and down the road, they obviously take time. And the more stuff that you dump out because you've got stuff building, the slower it becomes. So, of course, putting flags in means that you have stops along the way, so work can actually continue. Now, I've got a limited number of builders who are building these buildings by pushing space. If I press Alt, or is it S and C? There we go, S and C, there it is. Space gives me this little map here of like what I can actually build. And that's about it, really, for the basics. Now, as I build stuff, of course, I'll slowly but surely be able to start getting resources. Now, the quarry is the first building that's going to be built, and that'll start generating stone, which is a non-renewable resource. Wood is renewable, because I can get a forester later on, who allows you to plant more trees. Of course, as you can imagine, the more you go through the campaign, the more sorts of buildings you unlock, and the bigger and better your world becomes. If I quickly open up my headquarters, we can see the sorts of resources that I've currently got inside. I've got some wood, I've got some stone, I've got some food things, got some coal, beer, love beer, bunch of different tools that are used for the different specific roles that everybody may have. Now, how does one speed up the game? I can't remember how this works. Is it this button? No? You know when you just forget all the controls? It's like, hang on a minute. How does one speed up? I know there's a way of speeding up the game. There's got to be. Because otherwise this is going to get very silly slow. And I'd rather not slowly work my way through this level. So, let's have a quick look. Now, how does one do this? Now, there is a redo of this game that came out, which was more revamped, bringing everything up a bit graphically. But for me, I love the old school look of this, and I'd much rather actually play this older version of the game. There's just something about the slightly janky, but the way that this is so elegant. Now, though this is a game that I used to play all the time on a little 15-inch monitor. I say little. That was pretty big back in the day. 15-inch monitor stacked to my 486. That was just about... No, it wasn't the 486. No, it was the 166 Windows 95 machine. I played it a lot on. And I was able to play it on my 486 because this is a game that I think was the very first game I bought that had a CD-ROM. I know how incredibly janky I am. One of the very first games that I ever bought that used a CD-ROM drive. Goodness gracious. So now we've got 2 woodcutters who are out and about. We can see them bimbling through. So that's a woodcutter there. So if I quickly do this, we can actually view my little woodcutter as they make their way over. So you can actually have a number of these little observation windows. So you can track people as you wander around the map. Because this map is pretty large in the grand scheme of things. Oh, I forgot it's in inverse, isn't it? There we go. Let's see if I can have a quick look at my settings. Keyboard layout. Here we go. Pause, space, inventory, zoom. I can zoom in. Maybe there isn't a speed up in the game. I might have been going absolutely bonkers. I could have sworn there was a speed up. Oh no. But the thing is, the music for the game is one that I loved as a kid. It's so soothingly therapeutic in the general gist of things. It's just so nice to play. And it's just a fun little game. So hopefully we'll do all right. We're going to cut down some trees. Now, annoyingly, there are some trees that you can't cut down, like this one. Hang on, wrong way. That one. That one we cannot cut down. That's very annoying. So, you know, small things. One of the weird things as well is we've got little animals roaming around. So we've got this little bunny hiding over here. If I zoom in, you can see it a little bit better. There it is. So that's a rabbit. And yes, we can get hunters who will go and kill them to get meat. Yes, it is going to be a bunny genocide. There's going to be lots of dead bunnies. But hey-ho, it's not actually really going to be that bad. What we're going to do with the bunnies is that we are going to generate more of them, because you can plant lots of trees with a forester, and that'll allow you to end up with more. But we finished building the sawmill almost. That's good. And the sawmill worker will be heading out there shortly. So the reason I've got 2 woodcutters is roughly 2 woodcutters generates enough. There we go. So it's telling me exactly I need a forester. So we better build a forester. So, whoops, a daisy. I'm going to build it here. There we go. Because that's near enough to here. And we can just plant lots of trees for both of these. Foresters work at slightly faster than a single woodcutter, but not quite as fast as 2. And you need 2 woodcutters just about to get a sawmill to produce boards at a constant pace. From my experience, I could be, you know, wrong, but that's what I learned as a child. So, yeah. Now, the thing is, this isn't a game that I have left abandoned. This is one that I am playing on GOG, and I do own it, of course, and I have played it through fully, completely, a couple of times, because I love this game. One of the biggest bugbears, though, I would say, with the game is that you can't control your citizens. So my little miner here, they're just going to work. I can't tell them which piles to deal with. I'd rather they dealt with that one. That'll open up some more land for me. But no. So we've got this little message window here. So we've got a new building of foresters. We've also got lots of different... there's our instructions to the mission. Just delete that. We don't need that. But yeah, there's lots of different little things that, of course, that we can do, as you can probably imagine. There is a military system that is inbuilt in the game as well, and that's going to come into play a little bit later. Which is... I don't think it actually comes into play at all in the first mission. If memory serves. Could be wrong, though. Could be wrong. Nah, no, I'm not. I'm going to build military buildings, but I'm not going to be actively doing much going around kicking people's faces in. So, once the forester is built, we should get our next prompt, which I think is indeed the military-based one. Now, of course, I want to build some buildings down this way. I want to explore up this way. Now, can I... Let's see if we can put a flag up here. Now, this is not going to stay there, but I'm going to send out a scout. I think I've got some scouts. There's a scout. So the scout is going to go and explore for me. But I'm only going to delete... I am going to delete this road, but I'm only going to do that once the scout has got to that point. Because unlike other units, they don't require the knowledge of being connected to a road. So I need to build a barracks on the northern border of my settlement. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to build a barracks up here somewhere. Okay, build a round to the mountain, send a geologist there. All right, well, we'll send a geologist up here as well. We will build a barracks, and we're going to build it here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to build it like this. And I'm going to tear this road down as well in a little bit. See how well it goes. So let's just quickly hit space. So my little scout is poking through. So we've got a barracks now. The mission objectives. Road to the mountain and send a geologist. So geologists can discover interesting resources. Of course, you're going to go and find some stuff here. So what's probably going to happen is he's going to go, I found water. Well done. Which is, shockingly enough, really important. Because, oh no, he didn't find any water there. So he's found absolutely nothing. So you can see that's a dull, a dead one. Now, annoyingly, they can't find anything on the borders of mountains. Essentially, I've got to wait for it to go a little bit further in. Bloody geologists. They're always wasting my time. Now, I'm debating whether I build another quarry. The thing is, quarries only cost wood to build. A lot of the basic buildings only cost wood. So I could build another quarry to get some more stone, and it would get through this a bit quicker, but of course it would mean that I would be, in theory, wasting some wood, but again, it is a renewable resource, and at least it'll clear this out a bit better. So let's do that. Let's build a quarry, and we're going to build it to here, because that way we can just get rid of all this stone, and that clears up a bit more space for me. I like space. So, let's see how this goes then. Like I said, the music is something that I just grew up with and I love to bits. But this is actually a game that my cousin introduced me to. It wasn't the Settlers 2. It was in fact the original Settlers, Settlers 1, which is a little bit more medieval themed. So, we found iron ore on the island. So, once this barracks is built, I should be able to expand over this mountain and start building an iron mine. So we've got loads more buildings. We've got access to a fishery, a hunter, an armory, an iron smelter, an iron mine, and iron has been found. So with this knowledge, I'm going to start building some extra things. So a fishery is the first one. We've seen some animals, so what we are going to do... Oh, we found water. So we have now learned how to make a well. We found water. Lovely. I know that there is a rabbit there, so I'm going to... No, that's a poorly placed hunter, because I bet you if I will try and build a road... Oh, no, I thought it was going to end more poorly there, so that actually worked out all right. I am going to destroy this flag, though, because I'm opening up a bit more space. Okay. I also want another fishery, possibly, because food is something that the ever-illustrious miners chew through at such a speed. But with the food, they then generate the particular resources. So this is one of the things. Food isn't used by your basic villagers. It's used by the specialists. Now, once I mine this one out, I should open up a bit more land here. And what I want to do is build a smelter and a armory in this sort of general area. So I'm going to build an iron smelter first. I think that's the best plan. And so we've got our little soldier has gone and occupied the barracks. Excellent. So we've got that bit of military news. I'm going to build another barracks here. I'm going to connect that road there. There we go. And the thing is, as you build buildings, it does reduce what you can build elsewhere. So I'm going to build an iron mine here. I'm going to build that to there. Build that line. And I don't know for certain that there's water here. I'm making an assumption, but I am going to build a well there. I'll get told off if... I say told off. I'll get told that was a waste of my time if that was. So the second quarry is almost built, and that's great. There we go. So we can have our second quarry worker going out. I'm going to send out a scout over there again. So the geologist is just wandering around being an absolute moron. I love it. Because I'm going to explore all over the damn show and not actually be useful. I'd really prefer it if you would actually explore close to the mine. So maybe I need to build a flag here and send out a geologist to that flag. Let's give it a go. Find out what's going on. So we've got a second geologist out and about now. You can see the trees that have been planted are these little kind of more, not really cherry blossoms, but they're very pretty and I like them. So the two quarries are at it. They're doing their finest work. We've got a hunter, we've got a fishery, and the thing is the fishery will run out of fish. That's the trade-off here. Slowly but surely they'll fish out the area, and I can't be certain a lot of the time as to what's available. So we've got my little woodcutters going away there, that's all good. The hunter's nearly finished, so is the fishery. One of the big problems I will always notice is that I can run out quite quickly of certain tools. And hammers are the most useful. Well, I'll say that. Hammers and pickaxes are initially useful because the hammer allows you to make buildings, because you need that for the geologist and you need that for the builders. Pickaxes are used by the quarry workers. The quarrier... What is a quarry? What is his name? Next page. Next page. The stonemason. My bad. Yeah, the stonemason. When, you know, they do a thing. And... Why does that keep telling me there's a fire? A fire? Oh, it's my Kindle. I was wondering what that was pinging up on the screen. That's very silly. Anyway, so we've got lots of miners. We've got some brewers. We've got quite a few people. That's fine. But what I do need are some more tools. Because I'd like to be able to get more, let's say, useful tools out there. So we'll see. And as the iron smelter does its lovely job, we should... Oh, so there's some more stone over there. So we're going to need to be able to... Once these get torn down, we'll be able to replace them later on. But hopefully, it'll chop this down here. So look, there's a little hunter shooting a rabbit. I told you I was going to kill bunnies. I'm a bunny murdering maniac. That's how it goes, I'm afraid. Poor bunnies. There are deer as well, and I think wild pigs. I think for other animals that you can find to kill, to turn into food. It's a thing. And there we go. So a little bit of food and a fish. Those are going to go to the headquarters building. And again, they'll be taken to the mines when the opportunity arrives. So that is obviously going to require the mines to be built. But, you know, that's a little bit later on down the line. So, here goes. Genuinely, the soundtrack to this game, I may have burned it to a separate CD and listened to it in my separate CD-ROM player. Not CD-ROM player, so my, you know, I had a big boombox system. I say a big one. I felt very posh when I had that, because it had a radio on it, I had a cassette player, and a cassette recorder, so I could record CDs onto cassettes and actually play them in the car. Which then eventually became my first car. Goodness, we had it for a while, didn't we? It was definitely a thing, having to play cassettes in my first car. I learned to love the radio. Now, the iron mine's being built, and that's very important. News, we found coal. Excellent. So that's really useful. So, we need to expand over this way. So with that, I'm going to build another barracks here, so it actually goes a little bit further into the mine, into the mountain itself, giving me better mine access, and that's really important. So we've now got a new building coal mine, and more coal is being found. Here we go. I think I might also want to build a woodcutter here, just to get rid of those trees. The annoying thing is, it costs 2 planks of wood to build a woodcutter. This woodcutter would guarantee to get at least 3 trees. So it's not like it's losing out, and wood is technically renewable. But it's still annoying. And I'll say that for the fact. Okay, now, where are these 2 stonemasons going? Hopefully somewhere useful. I mean, I say somewhere useful. They are working together. They're going to mine their way through that. Okay, the iron smelter is built. Now, I need an armory, and I also need a tool maker. So, let's build a tool maker, shall we? Now, the armory does have a favoritism, almost, within the game. So if I have a quick look at the this menu here, we can actually see our general productivity for all our buildings. So we can see that our woodcutters are doing well. But we can also see how much we have in general merchandise. It gives us loads of like graphs and stuff, which is absolutely bonkers. I love it. Here we go. Here's the distribution of goods. Now, this thing, we can choose what building gets more of what resource. So we can see that the mint will always get more coal, the iron smelter, the armory, and the metalworks will get less iron. That's fine, but that's how that goes. Now, also, with the same regard, tools. Hammers and picks are more important at the moment. I'm going to reduce the production of everything for now. Actually, I'll get another couple of axes and a couple of saws as a likelihood. And we'll do that. Because that way, because we can dictate what gets produced. essentially, and that's kind of important. But being able to manipulate what gets manufactured in your empire, essentially, does give you quite a nice potent bit of control. A lot more control than you might expect for a game like this. There is a lot of work that goes into this sort of game. And a lot of it is crazy micromanagement. But for a game that's quite peaceful, it's got a lot to it. Now, the Settlers series did have a couple of other games that came out later. I think there was Settlers 3 and 4, maybe even 5. I may have to revisit those, because I do remember playing 3, which is a little bit more active, I think is the best way of putting it. There was a lot more aggressive combat going on in it. So this game was released by Bluebyte Studios, if memory serves, and Bluebyte did make a lot of games of my childhood. I don't even know what actually happened to Bluebyte Studios afterwards. I say afterwards in general. More to the point, like, at a point in my childhood, they must have sort of got folded into another company, I guess. I have a horrible feeling that EA bought them. That makes me sad. EA, it ruined so many games that I loved. Which is crazy, considering EA was one of those big companies that was really, really useful. They did loads of really good stuff. And then they kind of... well, they weed all over the Command & Conquer series. And that made me very upset. Because... this is where I'm going to say some, like, potentially controversial things. I loved CNC3. I loved Command & Conquer. I loved Tiberian Sun. Loved Command & Conquer 3. I thought it was one of the best games ever released. Red Alert, that was really good. Red Alert 2. I like the fact that it got more silly. And it was really entertaining. Red Alert 3 went too silly. In my opinion. I didn't like the micromanagement of juggling between individual unit skills. I also hated how it got dumbed down for console players. And that sounds really awful, potentially. But the way that the gameplay was affected because it was designed to play on consoles, rather than a PC game that was kind of had a parallel release. It was a console game through and through. So there was a lot of the strategy around being able to go in and interfere with your opponent's harvesting, which is almost impossible to deal with when the harvester travels about 3 pixels and goes to the harvester and then turns back and forth and back and forth. And it was like, well, that was a waste of bloody time. Rubbish. And little things like that. That's what upset me. It was the way that there were lots of little things that were like, that wasn't done quite as well as previous games. And considering Command & Conquer 3 didn't come out that much late, it was around the same sort of time, but it was just a much better game. Oh well. I'm a Brotherhood of Nod fanboy. Through and through. Peace through power. That's my jam. But much of a muchness, that is, because this isn't Command & Conquer. I'm going to build a coal mine, but I'm going to build it here, if the expansion allows me to. So we've got another barracks built, so are we going to have a troop going out to that? Once I've cleared all this stone, I'd like to build a barracks around here somewhere. And hopefully, that'll give us a little bit more that we can do with it. So the iron mine is slowly but surely producing iron. Okay, we've got our barracks done. Excellent. Now, we've got a military building occupied. And what can we actually build? Not much yet. We are opening up to large areas of flat land. Flat land? You can see this is a very small map, can't you? Flat land allows me to build farms. And that'll be very helpful. So again, however, we're going to build ourselves a quarry in here, because I think it's a good idea to just start chiseling away at this big stockpile over here that we've got. I wonder. Let's build a woodcutter here as well. We'll build a sawmill. And we'll build a route like this. There we go. Now we can cut down these trees on the edge of the beach. That'll be good. Okay. The iron smelter is about 50% complete, maybe. It's got all the resources it needs to be built at least. The trouble is, it's very difficult to end up making sure you don't end up over-saturating your industrial core. And one of the things as well is you might start finding where lots of resources are being sent through to be built and transported. and your poor little villagers can't do anything about it. So, conveniently, you also have donkeys, which is really a lovely, cute little thing, because the road will go black. Essentially, they've tarmacked it. I don't really think that's the case, but they've paved the road, and the flag will change colour. They'll have a border around it and a better pole. Makes it look more regal, because that road is then considered a high traffic volume road. And when that happens, a donkey gets sent out, and they help the poor little villager who's traipsing back and forth. I love it. It's the cute little things in the game that just make me go, I love this game. It's so ridiculous. Now, I'm going to build another iron mine as well, because I think that's probably a good idea. And I'm also going to pull in another geologist in this general area. Now, wells will produce quite a lot of water. If we have a quick look at the next page, we can actually see... Sorry, this page. So we've got 21 buckets of water already. That's kind of important. But slowly but surely we will... I built a second iron smelter. I didn't want to do that. Oh no, I'm going to have to destroy it. Oops. I wanted to build a tool worker, but I don't have the ability to make a tool shop. That was my own fault. So essentially, I've wasted some of the stone for that. Can't get that back. Damn. Oh well. It happened. I'll have to live with it. It's also the first bloody level, so it's not like it's going to really hurt me too badly. And yes, you don't need just one iron smelter, but considering this is the first level, I can get away with it. I probably should have left it. Oh well, it happens. Did I actually build that? Oh yeah, I did. There we go. Now you're working your way over. Okay, so we've got some more resources coming up this way. Sawmills slowly but surely working through all the wood. And you can see we've only got one log. So you can see what I mean about needing 2 woodcutters to feed a single wood mill. It just doesn't work as fast as you might like. Which is a shame. But that is the way it is, unfortunately. Where did that log come from? I have no idea what's happening there. Ah, lo and behold, as I mentioned. So if we zoom in a little bit here. So we can see there a little paved road and a donkey. Because you'll usually see them coming out of your headquarters straight away. That's usually where you'll start seeing these donkey roads. But it's just a little cute feature that I really enjoyed. And, of course, there are a bunch of farmers that you can get. You get farmers that do grain. You get pig farmers that make pigs, shockingly enough. And you also get donkey breeders who breed donkeys. So to have an efficient empire, it's always very sensible to have quite a lot of donkeys. You don't maybe not need, like, a lot of donkey breeders, but at least one is very important. My iron smelter's working away. And I have found, though, that certain resource buildings, like iron smelters and armories, you want to either place them near resource mines, like this, or near storage buildings. There are storehouses as well in the game, which turn up a little later. Now, I think it's probably a good idea if I build another barracks here. We'll build that, build flag here. Actually, let's tear down this road for a moment and build it over to here, because that keeps more of these large building options. Because I want to build a farm here. I've got a plan, you see. There is method to my madness, allegedly. Also, you can destroy cacti by putting flags on them. You can also make boats as well. There's an open fertile plain to the north of our border post. Yes, it's very true. Continue expanding the border. Well, I kind of already have Octavius. Oh, there we go. Finally found enough to build farms. Excellent. Alright, so we've now learned how to make a farm. So I'm going to do just that. There we go. Put a flag there. And we've occupied our military building. Excellent stuff. Now, once this quarry's built, we'll be able to get a bit more stone on the go. But the thing is, currently, we're having a little bit of a wood deficit. So, the consideration is here. Do I, once these quarries have mined all this stone, do I then turn this into a forestry area and just slap loads and loads of woodcutters, like pairs of woodcutters and a forester and another sawmill down? Or do I build a farm? in this area. I think right now, the wood might be more important. So, we will... Well, once this quarry's done, I'm going to build a barracks down here to expand this way. But right now, I think we're going to have to build a second sawmill. There. And we need a woodcutter, a forester, and another woodcutter. And we'll build some roads to connect the entire mess together, like that. What we'll do is keep that all organised, and there we go. No, I can't build that there. Boom. Right. That worked. I do want to see if I can get any other connections to the path here, because any way I can loop back round is always useful. Boop. There we go. Because you never know, you might need more links to the great city roads. Because, of course, more people who are wandering around, the easier it is. Okay. So we've got lots of iron going, so that's good. The coal mine's almost finished. I'm going to put a flag here, and I'm going to send another geologist out and about. Off you go, geologist. Go do things. I also really want to cut down these trees here, because I think I might be able to get a barracks in this sort of area. Maybe. Let's build another fishery as well over here, just because. Why not? Now, of course, with the general infrastructure construction that I've got going on, it is eating through all my wood, and I do not have enough boards, which is a shame. I also don't have enough builders to actually build everything. That's fine, but the woodcutter is halfway done. It needs another wood to finish it. The sawmill will need... what does that even need, actually? I forget. That just tells me what it does. Yes, you can see what I've currently got in the building. So that's 2 sawmills under construction, 1 quarry under construction, 1 barracks under construction. I just need the wood to get going. So again, the great paved road is increasing. And the thing is, the civilians will just dump stuff off as they see fit. Once stuff is ready. Yeah, of course, there is the options to configure what we can do with general transport priority. Raw materials tend to be lower, but construction materials slightly around the middle. The resources that are kind of more valuable, weapons, gold. Gold's an interesting one as well. When you do find gold, you can use it to promote soldiers, and they make your soldiers just generally better. I think there's like a private first class, sergeant, officer, general. They're the 5 ranks, and they look significantly more and more opulent as they go. And of course, generally speaking, the higher their rank, the better they fight. Who would have guessed? I do personally prefer the look of some of the soldiers. Like, as playing as the Romans, I really like the look of the sergeant. I just like the way that they look. They look really cool. But, we'll see what happens. So, that coal mine is almost finished, so then we're going to get another miner going out to there. And that builder will then be able to either go to, well, one of the many buildings that are currently unbuilt. What I'm hoping as well is that some of these... there we go. Some of these builders will actually start stacking the resources on the required buildings. Excellent. Here we go. So, the geologist is still working away. I've not saved for 30 minutes. I better save, hadn't I? There we go. The trouble is, because I've played this game, maybe not recently, but I have played it. I'm not going, oh, do I need any of those saves? I don't know. But it's odd, though, the fact that the game will actually remind you haven't saved. I do find that fun. Activities doing alright. Game menu. Yeah, there's nothing I can do for the speed of the game, is there? That is kind of annoying. I wonder if there's any... is there quality of life stuff that might improve that? Maybe. Maybe being the operative word there. We'll see. But hey ho. Right, so we're still cutting down trees. That's how we go. Kind of a standard thing that we need here is to cut down lots of trees and get more stuff. So we're almost done with all the stone in this area. We'll get a notification. We'll hear that little whoo as the dove appears with messages for us. Ah, good. The woodcutter's there. The sawmill is being built. Excellent. That's exactly what we need. Now, I wonder if building a barracks here is better. Let's give this a go. And what I'll probably do is tear this road up and then build a better road connection once the quarries have finished. It's probably the best plan. The thing is, there is a little bit of madcap mentality that goes on with me here, because I'm painfully aware this may not be the best or the most efficient source of workings of this, but at the same time, it seems to be working. It's almost spaghettified of like how bizarre my beginnings start, and then I just start going, no, I'll just do things everywhere. Okay, so we're still slugging away with the transport. Let's see. Wood's still kind of going alright. Sawmill number 2 is not even halfway built. But that woodcutter's being constructed, and that's good. And so is that barracks. So we're getting our way through things. That's the important bit here, is we are building the important required stuff. I just need more of it. That's the problem. I think here is going to be a good coal mine location. The trouble I have is I tend to just build too much too quickly. And maybe I should have built 2 sawmills. But again, this is the first level. So first level of the entire game. So it looks like our hunter is pretty much out of things to hunt. Damn. I was hoping that having a heavy forested area, I think that's supposed to spawn animals. I'm not sure if I'm correct, though. Thankfully, though, I do have the instruction manual on my phone, because I'm a genius like that. Because, yes, this is indeed absolutely bonkers. Yeah, with all the Windows 95 installations. I've never seen that before. Goodness. Now, where are the control bits? See if it gives me any information about that. Maybe. It gives some stuff. I remember reading the instruction manual, though, as I brought it back as a kid. And just looking through this made me so happy. Like, genuinely happy. The other thing as well, it's designed for local multi-mouse co-op. Because back in the day when I was a kid, having a computer that could support 2 mice being put in it was a thing. Because yes, there were the PS2 controller. Yeah, that's a thing. A PS2 controller. I'm going to bring up an image of what that looks like. So the PS2 controller, you had essentially one for the plug into the back. You could also get serial mice as well, because again, that was a thing. I had a serial mouse on my old BBC-B. And my 386 as well. That had one, because I had a 386 before I had a 486. My dad acquired technology, shall we say. He was a head teacher, and he was very keen on getting technology in schools, and because of that, a lot of companies were very keen to go, here, have a new free computer for him. And because he was a big advocate of technology in schools when I was a very young man. And I'm really glad of it, because it meant that when I went to school, I knew how to use all the technology that we had. And as a later date, when I went to secondary school, so when I was 11, so this is 1998, there were still people there who'd never even used a computer. So word processing as a concept to them, completely alien. But to me, I was really used to it. So it felt really, really good on that. But anyway, my point really was that, yes, so this game actually had local co-op. So my brother and I could sit at the same computer, because we did have a PC that was able to support dual PS2 inputs for mice. But it gets even better, because we did then eventually get a computer that only had one PS2 for mouse, one for keyboard. But it had USB ports, and it was, being with Windows 95, you could have USB mice. That was a revelation. Suddenly, he and I could play games together on the same screen, because it would split it down the middle here. And there'd be my screen, there'd be his screen. And there were keyboard shortcuts, for everything, because the keyboard was still shared, which was entertaining, but everything else worked great. And it was very entertaining. I loved it. Ah, the joys of the silly old games from my childhood. It's very zany. I'm painfully aware. But local co-op sorts of games were, I wouldn't say entirely unusual, but these are the days of split screen, and that was a thing that I grew up with, and I absolutely adored it. Oh, we got a message. Military building occupied. Excellent. Look at all that lovely land. I might build another farm. Who knows? But I'm going to build another barracks up here, and I'm going to try and skim the path through this way, so I don't end up taking up any of the valuable farm space. So I will build another farm here. I'll build it there. And maybe I'll build another one. Maybe. I mean, 2 farms should be okay for what I'm doing at the moment. Let's get a scout out and about, because we need some scouts. Go on, go scout. Go do things. I mean, we must be nearly at the end of the map, considering if I do that, we see the bottom of the map. Let's see if I can build another woodcutter and build that there. Yeah, the hunter is probably defunct. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to be finding anything else. So I might just burn their building to the ground. Bye-bye. Oh well, that's fine. We'll probably build another hunter later on, as soon as we see some more animals. I haven't seen many more, though. That's the tricky bit. They do have a surprisingly large range, though, the hunters. So, it's a thing. Okay, so that lumberjack is going off cutting wood there for some reason. Alright. And where's those scouts that we need? They're somewhere, who knows. Being slow as heck. And then we also want to train more soldiers. So to train soldiers, we need beer. So we need a single bit of beer, and a sword and a shield, and we make a trooper, which is good. So, of course, the Roman legionnaires, privates, when they turn up, they have a very basic look. And as well as that, you also have the other factions that are in this. There are 3 additional factions. There are the Vikings, the Yamato, I think is what they're called, and the African tribes, the African nations. And each of them has slightly different looks to their building aesthetics. They have different looks to their soldiers. I love the African, the African nations buildings. They look really interesting. But the trouble is, I do think it is a game of its time. And it came out of Germany, if memory serves as well. And let's have a quick look at the credits for the game. We have a Thomas Herzler, a Thomas Hauser, Peter Ullmann, Christopher Werner, Thorsten Knopp, and that's some very German-sounding names. But it is a very small team. I think it's less than 10 people who actually put the game together, which is quite interesting. Because a lot of these games in the 90s were very small-scale production. But they did some fantastic stuff, and it makes me very happy. So, okay, that woodcutter I'm going to burn because we don't need it anymore. Actually, I'm going to do something potentially really dumb. So we're going to get rid of that. Now, what we will get is a notification saying that we've got no more stone. Cool. And we'll build that road there, and then we'll build that to there. There we go. So that's maybe not the most efficient of what I was planning, but hey, it worked. So we can now get rid of these 2 quarries. Let's get rid of that one, and we'll burn that one. We'll get rid of that road in the middle there. So once the fire dies down, then we can potentially look at what other stuff we can put in this area. So, sawmill number 2 is nearly ready. Nearly ready. But the reason I bring up the other factions as well is the way that they have differences with their troops. So the Romans and the African nations, they use swords. The Yamato kick you for their privates. And the Vikings just spit in your face. When we get into combats later on, you'll see this. Of course, we don't get into any combats at the beginning of the game. Okay, so our troops are exploring... well, our scouts, sorry, not just troops. They're exploring slowly but surely, so we definitely want to head over this way. There's nothing over here, and we can see that. I probably should have sent like a scout over that way as well. That would have been sensible, wouldn't it? But logic, common sense, for the walrus, don't be ridiculous. There's none of that. Okay. So we need to get that barracks built. That's what we need. Come on, guys. Send the resources away. Go do things. I'm going to put a flag here and get rid of that dead tree because I can. Woo! I mean, it does nothing, but I've just done it anyway. I don't care. Okie dokie. But the thing is that this is a game that I feel that I don't think it got very much outside of Europe. Anytime I've spoken to an American friend about the game, they seem really confused by it. But for me, I can see where possibly games like the Settlers of Catan and other games that are similar to it may have had some inspiration from games like this, which is certainly a possibility. And being that it's a game that I love the Settlers of Catan as well, yeah, I can live with that as a comparison. It's certainly a thing. So it does look like there's not much else around this sort of area. That's fine. Slightly annoying, but that's fine. Right. Once the fires die down, I may see if I can build a farm in this area, actually. Just because. How many farmers do I even have? 6. Yeah, I've got loads of those. We'll be fine. I still need more wood, though. But the 3 sawmills, sorry, should be able to start producing more wood for me. And the woodcutters will just do their general work. I've got a feeling that this road here may end up being a donkey path at some point, because that is a lot of resources. You can see the stacks of it there. It's just getting in the way. Being annoying. That's how it goes, though. Okay. Surely. Must be something else I can do. I'm going to build a road here, just so I can send out another scout. And again, once the fires die down, then we'll start seeing the ability to actually build in that area again. Currently, we can't. That's fine. But that is how this is going to go. And of course, we've got a donkey on this one because of the quarrying and the iron smelter, the woodcutter. But I don't think they're needed as much. But hey-ho, it's double the speed. I'll take that. Okay, foresters are doing their work. And that woodcutter's slowly but surely working its way through that. Now, the reason I don't want to build farms near woodcutters and foresters is because foresters can put a tree down pretty much anywhere. And because you can't control them individually, there have been a number of times where a forester has gone, oh, I'm going to go and put a tree down here, exactly in the middle of a farm bit, a grain circle. Because that's how the game works. It plants it in circles. And we'll be able to see that when the farm even gets remotely near built. Unfortunately, we're nowhere near that right now. Come on. Goodness gracious. I wonder if I should build a woodcutter here as well to cut down some of those trees. But it doesn't really hugely matter. Okay. So our scout is just pootling over here. That's fine. Another woodcutter there. That's all good. I could probably build another quarry over here, actually. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea, considering we've got a couple of stonemasons who are out of work at the moment. Give them something to do, at least. Okay, that woodcutter's unoccupied. I do really need to see if I can build a toolmaker yet. I don't think I can. No. That's kind of annoying, because I worry I may end up running out of axes. Or woodcutters. Ah, no, I've still got plenty of woodcutters, that's fine. And when it comes to tools, yeah, we've got no tools, so got to be careful. Okay. The weird thing about the forester, though, is they'll always plant the same sorts of trees. So you're not going to see any more of these lovely palm trees being planted. It would be nice if different different foresters planted different trees. That'd be kind of cute. But, like, for the different factions, essentially. But, yeah, I don't think that's the case. Okay, so there's another iron mine. We probably need another smelter, in fairness now. Because, oh no, we're still... the iron smelter is pretty efficient, actually. It is working its way through stuff, so maybe not. If we start getting an abundance of the iron, then yes, I'll build another smelter. Let's tear this flag. Oh, I didn't mean to send a geologist there. Oops. Oh well, that happened. It's not the end of the world. Okay, sawmill's still working away. Farm is... well, it's definitely got all the resources it needs. But does it have a builder? Ah, it will do soon. That's the important bit. So I like the fact that the building actually won't get built regardless. If you put all the stone there, it won't start doing any of the building. It has to use the wood first to make the frame structure of it. And essentially, if it does require stone, it does all the stone bits on the side. But hopefully you can see why I would lose hours of a day to this game. Just because it was just... There's something about it. I just love the way it plays, the way it feels. There's just a lot to this game to love, I feel. And it's just a game that I absolutely adored as a kid. And it's a game that I will probably end up playing again and again and again. Hence why I'm sort of revisiting it for Nostalgia Sundays. The campaign itself is quite long as well. Like, it does work its way through quite a monstrous campaign. You work your way through the entirety of the Roman exploration of this poor shipwrecked bunch, as they have no idea really where they are. The intro cutscene of the game as well takes you through that voyage that is being made by Octavius and his crew, and it's really interesting. So like the bizarre nature of it. And I think when Settlers 3 came out, I think they kept the Vikings. I think they definitely kept the Romans. I can't remember who the third faction was. Might have been the Yamato? I could be wrong. Can't remember though. So it looks like that... Where's that board? Oh, it's going to that quarry. That's good. They haven't given me any ability to build storehouses, which is a shame. But it's okay. We'll live. Hopefully we can cut down those 2 trees with this woodcutter, and that'll give us the ability to build a barracks here, and then work our way up this side as well. Goodness gracious. Come on, guys. Build, build, build. We have things that we need. I think once we build a farm, then we can... I think we'll unlock the ability to make a mill and then a bakery as well. To, shockingly enough, to make bread. Because bread. We need bread. It's very important resources, I'm sure you can imagine. So... Okay, so that's going to go to the farm. Barracks is almost finished. That's being finished. That's almost finished because, well, we've had all the wood there. The thing is, some of the buildings I can remember exactly how much they cost. There is an instruction manual that tells you. And the thing is, this is a game that is available on GOG. It works perfectly fine. This is Ring Run on a Windows 11 machine. I do have a Windows 98 machine as well that is in the house. Hasn't been booted up for a number of years. Probably need to change its CMOS battery, if I'm brutally honest with myself. But it definitely worked previously. And, yeah. So there are some... So this is a game that definitely works, and it's definitely a game I'd recommend, because it's not exactly expensive on GOG either. But if you want a game where you can just sit there and just lose time... There are times where I have genuinely just lost days to this game. Because I'll just load it up, sat in bed, school holidays, I remember getting up, booting up the computer, sitting in my dressing gown. Oh yes, because I was a proper bougie teenager. I had a dressing gown as well as pyjamas. Until it got too warm in the house, and then my parents would be like, "Why are you not going outside, Walrus? There are things to do." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm the Romans, taking over the world, just saying. It's just how it goes." Very silly. Painfully aware, don't you worry. So you need some more coal, because the armory is currently eating up most of the coal. And, oh, thankfully there's the other coal mine. So where's the miner? There he goes. So there's the miner wandering over. I'm going to build another coal mine there. And that should, hopefully, do us some favours. Okay, so there's the soldier wandering over. Lovely. And... Go on. Get in there. 3, 2, 1. Yay! Military building occupied. Woo! So again, we've got more space. Lovely. So, I need another woodcutter in this sort of general area. So I'm going to put some flags in, call in another geologist. I might as well just build another farm. Just because I've got the space. And I'll build another fishery as well. Bonk. There we go. Might as well build some form of well in this area as well, I think. Hopefully the geologist will find water. It's... Essentially, if it's green grass, likelihood is there's going to be water there. Not guaranteed, though. Not guaranteed. Okay, so the woodcutter's slowly working through all that. The sawmills are working at very good efficiency. This one not so much. Ah, the woodcutter's pretty much out of stuff to find. Interesting. So, this sawmill up here is going to become the overflow sawmill, as we kind of have the ability to do general sorts of things here. So this woodcutter, when it comes to 0, and I know that there is nothing else for it to get, then I will burn it to the ground. Because I don't really want to put lots of trees in the area. Because I don't want to risk... Ah, excellent. We got our first grain, so we can turn it into flour in a mill or use it to feed pigs. So, we now have the mill and a pig farm. So with that, what we're going to do is I'm going to build a pig farm down here. There we go. And if you notice this flag, because it's on a water bit, we can actually build a waterway. Which is maybe not the most useful of things, but I've got the ability to do it, so I might as bloody well. It's funny. Now, I need a too big building, a medium-sized building, to build a mill. So I'm going to build a mill, and I'm going to put it there. Just dig up that road, see if we can do a better connection. There we go, that's better. And then, with that, I could just build another farm. I mean, I might as well. Building all the farms, just because I can. And I might then build a second mill. Like that. So we should have... Hopefully we can get a storage facility up this way, a warehouse. Because then we can send stuff toing and froing as one would. So our farmer here. There we go. So these little crop circles like that is how the farm will generate. So we need space around a farm. Pig farms don't need space, though. And that's quite important. But they need a well, they need water, and they need grain. Oh, we got granite as well. Lovely. So, that's interesting. Granite is one of those things that I thought early on as a kid, like, oh, that's completely useless, but I want iron and I want coal. But as I've grown older and played it through a couple more times, I've understood the real big bonus of getting granite and a gold vein as well. Oh my. Well, this will now give us gold mines and a mint. So the mint will allow us to promote our soldiers. That's the interesting bit. Now what I am going to do is... Oh, where am I going to build a mint? Because they're a medium-sized building. Yeah, that woodcutter's almost at 0. I think I'm going to build the mint over this way once the quarries do their job. I also need to cut down some of these trees over here. Let's get another scout in this still general vicinity. There we go. So we're going to pootle on that bit of wood. We've got more gold, even better. Love it. I love gold. It makes me happy. Because without better soldiers, you will struggle in each general confrontation. Now, admittedly, we can only build a barracks at the moment. They can hold 2 soldiers and they can hold a single coin. Bigger military buildings are unlocked later and later. Barracks is also really cheap. They only cost 2 wood to build, so they're quite easy to get military stuff out quickly. And this little flag outside the building actually tells you how close the nearest enemy is. A white flag shows that there is no enemy within a general vicinity of them. If they have a single line through them, that means that there is an enemy in the vicinity. Not like super, super close, but they're coming closer. If it has a full cross on it, so it's a diagonal, and then it has a proper black cross in it, that means the enemy is close. And that's when you start going, I really wish I'd built a bigger building nearby. Because the barracks is the first one. You've got the guardhouse, which holds 3 people, watchtower, which holds 6, and then the fortress, which holds 9. But all the other buildings require stone as well. So there are trade-offs for each of them. So once this barracks is built, we're going to build a woodcutter in this sort of general area. And we've got 2 mills, and then we're going to build a bakery as well. Because the bakery will be able to at least give us some... We don't have the ability to make it yet, but as soon as we do, we'll be able to get a bit more food on the go. And that's an important bit. Woodcutter is pretty much out of service now, so we're just going to burn that to the ground. Oof. Then we're going to replace it with the woodcutter over here, which is lovely. Now, how are we doing for the... we still need more coal. Coal is the drawback that we're currently having right now. We need more food. I think that's probably the other problem we've got. So, we've got 1, 2 fisheries. I would like another one. So let's build another fishery here. Just because. We'll connect this bit of road as well, and we can build another fishery. So we'll have 4 fisheries. Do I even have 4 spare fishers? Yeah, I've got 2 spare fishers. So that's good. We can add those 2 there. That works fine. There we go. Keep it going. And I'm wondering, should I build a mint here? Let's build that. Oh no, that's a very poor location for it actually. Let's build it here. Next to the armory. And the thing is, any building that has this little sign here means that the land is too uneven for the building to be built. And this will only appear for medium-sized buildings. So there have been times where I've realised that the land is a little bit uneven. And I've built a medium or a large-sized building by just telling them to build the building. Wait for the leveller to finish levelling the land to make it more flat, which then generally actually ends up opening up more land for building capability, and then demolishing it before any resources are there, so I can essentially just increase the viability of the land. Because currently we can see 2 basic small buildings that are available there. But hopefully by the time you're finished, it'll actually nicely level it up and make it a bit better. So there we go, we've expanded over again. Now we're going to build yet another barracks here. And I'm going to build a woodcutter. And... there we go, put that there. And we're going to build that to there. And that's... no, that's... dig up that road. I'm going to build this across like that. Now, this here, what do I want to build in this vicinity? Actually, I think... actually, I might level that mint in a second. Once it's done. Exactly doing what I said I was occasionally willing to do. Because I think a mint up here might be more sensible because it's closer to the mines. But also a bakery up here would also not be a bad idea. But I don't have the ability to make a bakery yet. Ah, curses. That's annoying. That's very rude. I guess I'm just going to have to wait. So, right, so that forester there has... sorry, that woodcutter has realised that there is actually no extra building capability in this area. That's really annoying. That's fine, though. So... I think what I will do is once that fire burns out, I'm going to build a road between these 2 points and get rid of this one. Because that should hopefully just make that a better route. Okay, the farms are just working away. They're going to slowly but surely make grain. We've got none yet, but hey, it's a thing. It's going to get there eventually. We still need more builders, though. We also need more coal. We have a distinct lack of food. I think food is the issue we're having. It's very annoying. Let's get another scout out and about. The trouble is, because I know how this mission plays, I know where to go. This is the end of the level. Near the dead dinosaurs. You know, why are there dead dinosaurs on this? Okay, it's a lie. That's a dumb question. Why are there dead dinosaur skeletons on the surface, which indicates that they died more recently and are not fossilized? That's the question. Because, yeah, that's slightly alarming. It never gets answered, I don't believe. But it's still a concern. Because it would be really good to know. Oh well. Right, so we're slowly but surely mining our way through the quarry's work there. So that's very useful. Getting the stone that we need. And we definitely need more food though. So that mill will be able to start making us some very useful sacks of wheat. We then need water and wheat to make bread. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 buildings. 8, 9, 10 buildings that 11 buildings, sorry, that aren't currently being built. But resources are slowly but surely getting there. I just need more hammers to make more builders, but I haven't got the ability to make a tool maker, which is a real shame. But that mill will be there soon enough. And with 4 farms, I think we'll have enough wheat, possibly. We may be wrong with that statement, though. Once the quarries are done, we're going to build a barracks over this way, just to expand and get another woodcutter in this area. And maybe another stone cutter over here. And maybe another farm. Who knows? But the gold mine is being built slowly but surely. So the wood is working its way up. So you can see that the donkey path is expanding. The trouble is when you put they put the tarmac down, or the stonework, whatever they do to make it a heavy passage road, you'll see it, but sometimes you don't have the donkeys, and then you feel really dumb. Which is like 90% of the time I play, to be fair. Here we go. Ooh, and letter. I haven't saved for 30 minutes. That'll be fine. Not too concerned. But at the same time, though, this is a game without autosaves, so just, be careful, be aware. The windmill can supply a bake. We need to bake bread. So let us bake some bread, shall we? So we're going to build a bakery. I'm going to build a well here and hope for the best. Build that there, build that connection there. So now we've got connections going across. I'm going to need more bakers. Our scouts have discovered a strange object. It looks like a gateway. We're obviously not the first humans on this island. They've even found an inscription in Latin. It is bizarre and contradictory. It is a riddle. Consiste ut proceradas. Settle down in order to make progress. What can this mean? So if we have a look, there's the gateway. We want to make our way towards the gateway, so we're nearly there. Once that barracks is built, we can build a second one, and then that will allow us to go to level 2. And as soon as we conquer, in inverted commas, the gateway, we get it within our territory, that will be the end of this recording of things. As fun as it is to just, slowly slug through building stuff. Thankfully, the levels aren't coded to the point where you suddenly have to go, oh, but you didn't unlock this in the previous level. You need to unlock it. No. Thankfully, it's not that bad. So, what are we looking at? We do actually have quite a few planks. The drawback we've got now is actually it's the lack of builders. Saw that one coming, didn't I? Blummy neck. Well, hopefully we'll get these resources sent through. That's the important bit, is actually the resources actually going up and about. And this is where, as soon as we can start being able to make storage facilities, I think we need to be at level 2 or 3 before we can make warehouses. Then it'll make life a bit easier, because unlike a headquarters can have troops inside of it as a garrison. A warehouse cannot, but a warehouse can still create soldiers. So there are some benefits to a warehouse, but it can't be a garrison, so it requires military buildings in this vicinity. If you lose your headquarters, that's game over, and that's actually how you defeat other players or other factions within the game. Okay, so the mill is active now, and there's some wheat making its way from the headquarters building all the way up. So hopefully the farms will slowly but surely make more wheat for me, and off we go, really. That barracks is partway built. Where are the other builders? It looks like they're living up there mostly, aren't they? Goodness. They don't want to build the fisheries or the pig farm, apparently. Also, my builders don't want to take resources there. You're physically connected. Go send some of the resources there so the builders can go and get stuff done. Seriously, guys. Lazy. Slackers. But 'tis the way of the world. Okay, so we've got another miner on their way up, hopefully to the gold mine. How many more miners do I have? 2 more. Well, okay, that's alright. We've still only got 1 miner on their way. There they are. And then we'll have another miner to go into the granite mine. So we'll have 1 left. That's fine. Okay, so we've got another soldier going off on their merry way. We've only got 6 privates left still. But then again, we've got 5 barrels of beer, so we can still make at least another 5 troops. Shocking enough, a brewery uses the same resources as a baker. No, that's a lie. They use partly the same as they use water, but they also use wheat. So this is why you need a lot of farms, because there are 4 buildings that rely on them. The donkey breeder, the pig farmer, the mill, and the brewery. All need wheat, because with that you can then generate soldiers, you can make food, well, 2 different types of food, meat and bread. And finally, you can also get the most useful creature, the donkey. So, looks like that farm is almost finished. Got another farm under construction. And I have no idea where the other builders are. They're somewhere. I'm assuming returning to the headquarters. So they can actually then be sent off again on another errand. I say errand. Go build things. Well, there's one of them. Where are you going? Well, they're going up this way, so we're probably going to be any one of these. Could be the granite mine. Could be the mill. Could be the fishery. Who knows? Actually, I've only got 2 fishers left, haven't I? I do. So I don't really want to build too many fisheries, so I will get rid of this one. Because otherwise, it'll just sit there unoccupied. And that'll be done. So, that soldier is almost there in the barracks, which is very important. And there's our first bit of milled flour. That makes me happy. There's another unoccupied farm. And that builder is, annoyingly, this is the problem, is it? There isn't the pathfinding or sensibility that builders will go from one building to another building. They have to go back to the headquarters or the nearest warehouse to then go, I now need to go over this way. Because in theory, yes, they should go over there and build the mill, or the fishery, or the granite mine, or these buildings. But no. They have to go back to be given a new mission. So the building is completed. We are very close to it. So let's build ourselves a barracks. With that, we'll build that there. And I'm going to build a flag here and a flag here. Lovely. Here we go, here we go. So the mint is under construction, so that's useful. We haven't got any... we'll probably have some gold soon. Because food tends to go to the gold mines. Essentially, if you're a granite miner, you get the least food. But the fun thing is, though, there's no benefits in the different foods. As a kid, my brother and I used to joke about... well, I say joke. We used to hypothesize that different miners had different preferences to food. And if that was the case, maybe they worked faster if you generated that. Complete speculation on our part. Because it doesn't actually bloody matter. But we used to suggest that iron mines had a favoritism for meat. Coal miners liked bread. And gold miners, for some reason, liked fish. Again, complete postulation is just... didn't make any difference to the game. Because that's just the way it is. It just doesn't make any difference at all. So, our builders... yeah, they're all out and about by the looks of things. Yep. And they are... not building the pig farm or the fishery down here, but they are building that farm. And they're building that bakery. So that's kind of good. So, slowly but surely, the wood and the stone are going up. And I guess it does require a builder to be on site before resources are sent that way. Kind of irksome. But, hey, it is the way it goes. These quarries have almost finished mining their way through those stone bits. That's very good. And actually, let's see if we can tear down this bit. And if we can, there we go. Now that's reconnected. Now that villager's going to go off wandering around going, oh, I'm lost, I'm lost. If you don't have a warehouse or a headquarters nearby, or another road, they just wander around repeatedly until they die, and they just get littered with skeletons. This is why you have to be very careful. Because if you overextend yourself, especially when you end up fighting against either another player or an AI, like an AI, 90%, because there is multiplayer in this, as I mentioned earlier. There's local co-op, local play, and I think there's networked play. Could be wrong on that one. Not sure. All the same, you'd end up getting attacked and then end up watching all your people just disappear off into the void and they'd all die. Which is terrible. Terrible, in fact. Okay, bakery is being built. And that's very important. Once the bakery is constructed... okay, that well is going to be constructed next. I really hope that woodcutter gets done, because that's going to clear a bit more space, and I'll be able to see better. I wonder where this build is going to go after the mint is constructed, though. That's going to be the big question. Where are you going? So again, you can see the forest just planting stuff. There is a way of stopping the forester from planting. If they are being annoying, my brother and I did figure it out. When they do that animation to plant, you can double click and place a flag down onto the small tree that they just planted, and then it gets destroyed. So yes, there is in theory a way around it, but sometimes why would you want to do so? Okay, so here we can see we've got I think we might almost be out of donkeys. Let's actually find out and see. No, we've still got 3 more. I mean, the donkey road is getting longer. Here they go. Hopefully this will make things a little bit faster for the transport component here. There we go. So the wheat is going over. The farm's just got loads of stuff. That farm is almost built. And that'll allow us to then have another builder ready and free, thankfully. So where's this set of lumber going? Is it going to the well? I hope it is. Because it only takes 2 bits of wood to build a well. Yeah, so that one, don't know where that one's going as well. Find out. I don't know why they're not going and dumping the resources on them more, though. That would be nice. There we go, there's our little world map. Sorry, I hope so I don't click away from it. There we can see, jump around quite easily. The thing is, you can have all these little screens all over the place, and so many times I'd end up following just a random villager who would become my favourite person because they carried so much. It was dumb, I know. But they do have fun idle animations, so if I just leave that there. I think the one with the massive chin, so the crimson chin, yes, I think they've got like a bubblegum animation. The skinny one has a yo-yo animation where they just do silly things. So I'll just leave them there. So hopefully they'll do that. So he's picking his nose. That is, you know, exciting stuff. Pick his nose. And the idle animations are entertaining. Like, just little dumb things. Just because they might as well. I like the fact that they've got these little silly animations that are animated in. Okay, so the bakery is almost ready. As will the well be, which is excellent. Farmer is going up that way. Well's almost there. That's lovely stuff. And the woodcutter. Soon. Soon, I say. Soon. Okay. So there we go. So the thing is, because we're tracking them, we can just follow them bimbling around doing their thing. It's lovely. Okay, the mint is active, so that's getting some gold, and we'll get some coal soon as well. We've only got 3 coal mines and not enough food. This is the problem. So hopefully the bakeries will alleviate this. We've only got 1 bakery, but we'll probably need a second. So let's build a second. There we go. Okay, headquarters building, just filtering stuff out. So the builder's going out from there. Where are you going? Okay, the pig farms are under construction. Now, where's this builder going? Okay, so they're going up. So, this could be over to a fishery, a mill, a woodcutter, or the barracks. I'm going to put some estimation on the barracks, because I know how Sod's Law works. There returns another builder. It's important. You can see the wheat is slowly but surely working its way over to the mill. And I love the fact that the miller just gets to have a snooze. You know, just going to sit there, it's going to do its thing, I'm just going to have a nap. You know, why not? Just enjoy my life. Okay, so the bakery is getting loaded up with some flour. Excellent work. And the train of resources is leaving and going up. Very important. Okay, he's got loads of iron, so we definitely need more coal. That's the problem we've got right now. So what I will do is I might have a look and see regarding priorities. Food stuff. Yeah. So the coal mine, I think, needs maybe a little bit more. The gold mine can have a little bit less. Because we do need more. Actually, I think really, in fairness, we should probably say... Hang on a minute. They're not all in the map. But yeah, so here's some of the other factions. There's like 3 additional Romans, a couple of the Vikings. There's one of the Yamato. There's no one else there, but it's the thing. Distribution of goods. I'm going to make it so the coal mine gets the most food. Because it's really needed right now. Bakery's on its way. It doesn't have any water, though, so it can't bake any bread. Oh, well. There's water coming. And the thing is, it's one of the many things that you need water for. So it's kind of important. So, no more stone. Okay. Well, you can get burned to the ground. Actually, I'll just destroy the entire flag. You will probably get the same message from you in a moment. Which is fine. We know that was the case. And we can actually then just cut down this road bit as well. Probably end up rebuilding it if we end up building a barracks in this sort of direction. But, we'll be right. How many more farmers have I still got? I've still got another 2. Alright. Here we go. No more stone. So we go to location, destroy that building, pull it down, and we'll get rid of that flag as well. So they're burning. That's fine. Now, yep, I thought that would be the case. They go to the barracks. I think military buildings have a slight increased likelihood of being constructed. They have a priority, essentially, in the queue. Let's have a quick look down here. So the pig farm's being built, as is the fishery. Lovely. Very helpful. The thing is, though, I can't use these waterways unless I've got a boat. And guess what I don't have? I don't have any boats. I don't have a boat builder, that's the problem, so I can't actually build any. But there are times when being able to row materials across a river is very helpful. The trade-off is, though, you can't send people across waterways. So there are times that when with a boat route, you can send the resources like toing and froing. So, for example, you could transport things, but you have to build the infrastructure around it. But once you've built the road waterway, then you can end up with some reasonably useful quick passages, which is very helpful. Well, for general resources, not like people. So once the fishery is built, we'll have another fisher out and about. We'll have the pig farm built, then we can have some pigs, and then we'll get told we can need to build a slaughterhouse, which we haven't got yet unlocked. Bakery's there, that's good. The sawmill's just working away. That's the overflow sawmill. Okay, so the barracks will be built soon. Bakery's baking bread. And hopefully that'll start going its way to the coal mines. Desperately required. And I'm surprised that neither of the fishery or the mill up here have been a bit of a focus. It's alright. It's fine. And the bakery is... the general skeleton of it's being built, that's fine. And the fishery, will that finish before the pig farm? Ooh, I don't know. Don't know, it depends on how fast that lovely little builder wants to be. Zooming in to find out. I think the fishery's going to be done first. There we go. Look at that. So now we have another fishery, so we can get some more fish. And hopefully, again, we can start using that to make very important things. Improvements in the mines. Pig farm, though. That'll be a good unlock when that happens. So there goes our fisher, popping out of the old headquarters there. Mint still, we just need coal. We're in such a coal deficit right now. Bakery's going to be finished soon. And I wonder where that builder there from the fishery is going to go next. I'm assuming, well, it's going to have to be one of these 4 buildings. I'm going to make a wild stab in the dark and say it's probably going to be the mill. So let's find out. So there's the pig farm as well. That's ready. So this is going to mean that I'm going to have to look for a double-sized building. Which is... Come on. I'm just going to get rid of these observation windows. I don't need it. Pig farm can get pig farm animals to butcher. So we can now get a slaughterhouse. So... let's build a slaughterhouse. There we go. And with that, then we can slaughter pigs, which will go to meat. Meat! So the burned out wreckage is still kind of in the way, so we can't really do much with it yet. But just wait. Just you wait. There we go. Baker is doing its thing. And where are those builders going to go? So there's our pig farmer going into the pigs. I think we've got enough wheat. Yeah, we've got plenty of wheat. So pig farm will get stocked up quickly, which is very important. And you know what? I could just build another road across there. Just because. Might as well. increase the productivity of my routes. That's how this goes. Because the thing is, I don't need anything in this general area, so that's fine. Come on. Okay, so that rubble is now removed. I would like a building in this sort of area. Like another barracks. I think this barracks is going to claim the portal, which will end the level. So here's our soldier. So we're not going to get everything built, but at least we've unlocked most of the buildings. And we've built them all. It's an important bit. So, of course, this was a big blast from my nostalgia past. It is a game that does take a long time to play each level. I think outside of the first level, I will do each of the levels on a double speed, maybe triple speed. Because, yeah, it'll get a little bit tiring if we go through them. Because I don't really want to do a 3-hour-long playthrough for level 2. Because it will take at least 3 hours. That's like a guarantee. No ifs, and or buts. And although I am capable of rambling for 3 hours straight, there's a limit. There's a limit before I start going, I need to pee. But, all that out of the way, hopefully you have enjoyed. I'm not going to preempt too much, just in case it doesn't quite cover it. But hopefully you have enjoyed. Please do like, share, and subscribe. All your engagement is always really useful. Did you ever play the Settlers 2 Gold Edition when you were a kid? Or even as a slightly less kid, as an adult? If you did, why not leave a comment below? Let me know how you enjoyed it. And it's definitely a game that I only completed properly as an adult. My brother was much more into it. Like, he was like, I'm going to complete everything. Now, the Gold Edition, I believe, only added the world conquering map, that is hard. And I've only completed like Europe and one other, I think. So it's a challenge. As I said, hopefully you did enjoy. Let's have a quick look and see at our soldier as they make their way over to the barracks. Let's zoom in as they wander in and claim the gateway. Oh, we made our first gold coins. That's a very useful interruption. Yes, thank you very much, Octavius. And in we go. Right, we have our message. Right, the second year began yesterday, and we've succeeded in successfully settling the island. The scouts report the strange goings-ons near the gateway. It appears that a path has opened up, and it can lead us from this island. This seems to be the meaning of the riddle. We must settle in order to move on. We'll take a look, and perhaps all roads really do lead to Rome. Enter the gate. Chapter 1 complete. And hopefully I'll catch you all again next Sunday for Nostalgia Sundays with the Walrus.